ask you that since, looking at the current scenario, we know that there are so many new changes that are occurring, due to coronavirus. And so can you tell us a bit about the safety measures that you are taking with respect to your employees and, the health of your customers as well?
Of course, of course. So from the coffee side of things, one thing we are really banking on is science has proved that ingestion of food is not going to cause you COVID, right? So if you eat something from, let's say, a delivery kitchen, or you drink a cup of coffee from a cafe, or you get coffee beans, by ingesting it, you're not going to get corona. The virus needs a host to transfer, right? And it's got a very minimal time before it can transfer. So keeping all of that in mind, of course, we've taken, I would say that we were anyways doing everything that we could even before COVID, right? A good brand is a brand which kind of starts doing all of this stuff. See, we have something called a HACCP. HACCP is a guideline, right? Which is called a food handler's license, right? So most of the people that work for us either come from food technology backgrounds, or if they're not, we train them. So we have these guidelines in place where we ensure that safety is top of a concern. Maybe I can send you some pictures of what we do as well on the back end. But of course, mask, gloves, changing of the mask every few hours, sanitization, cleaning up of surfaces every couple of hours. This is pretty much a standard procedure. But over and beyond that, we are always looking into how we can innovate further. I hear a lot of rumor about, I hear a lot of hype rather, about something called as contactless dining. Now, contactless dining is not a real thing, right? Contactless is just not possible. There's no robot which is going to make your coffee for you. There's no, especially in the artisanal side of things, right? When you are an artisan, or you're doing small scale produce, or you're doing a startup with, maybe you're starting off your home, you cannot call it contactless because there has to be human contact. And that's how humans are. Something made from someone's hand tastes the best. So we just have to ensure that we are mindful, and the entire team is just mindful of when they have to do what, to make sure that the process is even more hygienic than before, right? Like just today, in fact, I'm going to just show you something. We got one of these sprays. I don't know if you can really see it, but yes, so it's a sanitizer spray, and this is probably our newest thing, where we just kind of, after you're done packaging and all that, we just kind of spray it on it. What happens with other sanitizers, that it's got alcohol, right? And you don't want that alcohol to kind of transfer on into the food as well. So we're looking at alternatives that would kind of change that. Also, one of the reasons why we use the spray is because so our outer packaging is actually completely compostable. That means it's so what was happening is that when we put sanitization on top, the colors would start fading because alcohol would actually take away all the colors from the packet. So we needed kind of a solution to do this. Of course, when delivery guys come pick up the produce or the coffee that's roasted, is taken from a distance. They're not allowed to come back into the roastery or the place that we're dispatching the goods from. All of this is pretty much happening, and I think we'll evolve more. I think day by day we will evolve more, and we get more and more strict on doing things. What we're exploring to do is have 24 hours or a 12-hour live feed from our packaging center. So you can actually, so that's something that we really want to do, and we want to bring that transparency to the guest eventually, where we kind of share a link with you, and you can actually see your coffee being packed and processed. So that's another technology that we are working on with CC cameras, and there are certain delays. We would like to activate it as soon as possible, but that will be, so once you place an order on dopecoffee.in, you'll be able to actually with your order code, you'll get your IP link as well, and you log on, and when your coffee is going to be packed, and you can actually have a CC camera view of your product being made. I think that is the future of transparency, and that is how people are going to trust you as a brand to bring about the best quality standards. So yeah, that's that.
That's very interesting, way of kind of, building that trust with your customers. So it's
Absolutely,
really nice thing.
absolutely.
It's really nice to listen to that. I mean, so interesting.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we try our best, and we are going to continue to do our best. Uh, and we've always been known for being ahead in the innovation game, and we are going to continue to do so as much as we can.
Awesome.
Mhm.
So, are there also any precautionary measures that you'll be taking, after the operations resume in Mumbai? So, after everything kind of really starts again, something more which you'll be kind of focusing on?
Yes, of course. There's going to be every day that goes by, there are new and new guidelines. Of course, the guidelines of operating restaurants and malls and cafes has not really come out there, because I don't think the government is even thinking of um, starting any of these anytime soon. They are
Yeah.
they are going to essentially see how people react to this uh, phase where people are more mindful of how they function in society, and then issue maybe guidelines. But as restaurateurs, and I say this in any webinar that restaurateurs or cafe owners or coffee shop owners, or coffee brand own anything food related. If you own something food related, you need to be even above the government guidelines, right? You need
Yeah.
to think world class standards, even if you're a startup, And when I say world class standards, doesn't mean that a startup cannot is not affordable for a startup. That's not what I mean. The very simple measures can make you very like up there in terms of precautionary measures. Just where social distancing is concerned, well, uh, again, that's another thing that I want. It's physical distancing, right? Because the mankind is a social animal, and we'll always remain social animals, and that's not going to change. So I think a lot of awareness, so maybe a lot of messaging in and around the restaurant for the guests to just be mindful of what they're doing, whether they are washing their hands every time they touch the surface of something, whether it is us for our cups and saucers and our tea, our teaspoons, so on and so forth. Maybe after dishwashing, anyways, we do our dishwashing at very high temperatures.
Mm.
So if you go to a commercial establishment, your dishwashing is obviously done in very very high temperatures. But beyond that, I think a chlorine wash for the dishes, and even now, if through their channel, a chlorine wash for your vegetables is also very very good. It's the only thing that can actually help you wash your vegetables down. Just water is not enough. So all of these things will happen at the back end. But I think what we will have to do is to make the customer, the client, the guest more mindful of what they are doing. They need to be more aware of how they need to be. And I think that messaging will kind of come across a lot more in restaurants and cafes. Um, Cafe staff and the front of the house may never look the same ever again. You know, they look like more like people from hospitals wearing PP suits rather than their uniforms, and that's going to be a very very big change that you may see. If you've seen the PPE suits, they look like you're pretty much going to space. So that's how maybe your server may look now, with proper protection, because I think the servers are also more at risk than anybody else, more than the audience, because they are the ones who are going to be picking up the plates, the forks, the knives. We are the ones who are going to be touching everything, and we are the ones who are going to be sanitizing everything, right? So I think we are more at risk than the audience really, and I think we have to make more precautions for them. Then I'm saying is equally important, but we'll have to do the extra mile for our own service staff and back of house staff. So yeah, a lot more messaging, a lot more sanitization, um, much more distances between tables. Although I don't know how, a lot of people are saying that have 6 feet distance between each table, but I don't know how that's going to work, because if you're going to go to an office, right, you're probably more at danger in an office than you'd be in a cafe. Uh, for a simple reason that there is there is no serving staff who keeps coming and rotating your table. Like if you go to a cafe, you see the environment, and you always see, like, the moment a table leaves, anyways the server comes to your table and he's wiping stuff down and doing all of that. So I think restaurants and cafes will be a much more safer space than even offices for that matter, because you have somebody constantly looking at your table and making sure that everything is fine. So that's my perspective on things.
Awesome.